Mobile phones and other electronic devices should be turned off.
I want to talk about something that gets people really, really aggravated, which is the inability to use their telephones and other devices when they take off and land on airplanes. Where do you stand on that?
Well, I think that we need to recognize that the world has changed, that consumer uses of devices have changed, and we need to take a fresh look at these rules. I think that there's a difference between voice use and all the other devices that people use. And I think that's the first step in making progress fast. So let's put voice aside for a minute. Checking your email, reading your Kindle or your iPad online, just doing the stuff that you do on your devices, working on a document, there's nothing wrong with that.
But the FAA, if I listen every time I fly, has led us to believe that it could be dangerous. It could interfere with the navigation devices on the aircraft.
The FAA has launched a process to review these rules. I've been very supportive of it, and I'm trying to help push this forward so that we can, understand that, looking at your Kindle is really the same as looking at your book, and let's incorporate that into our rules and our practices on airplanes.
And I assume this is mostly the FAA's jurisdiction, and that you're sort of offering an opinion from the FCC's perspective, or do you have any claim to this debate?
Well, we are in our system the expert agency on communications, devices, services, and all the rest, and so we do this in a lot of areas where we engage with other vertical agencies and say, listen, let's take into account what's happening in our economy and society on broadband devices and equipment. We do it with the education department, we do it with HHS around health, and it's been a very productive set of relationships, and I think it's part of the function of the FCC to engage with a lot of different expert agencies. And that's what we're doing with the FAA in a very positive way. I'm optimistic that we will see the FAA and the airlines themselves, because the airlines have to work through this too, and flight attendants and pilots have to be comfortable. That's why I think we should separate the voice issue and the telephone call issue from the other stuff.
But the telephone, that strikes me as an issue of people not paying attention to the safety announcements or just being rude, as opposed to any sort of
I think that's right.
Safety issue.
I think that's right. And I can understand why there are some people who might say, let's continue to debate that. I'm saying let's put these into two buckets, and let's take care of the easy one quickly. And let's continue to have a debate about how we feel about voice calls on planes. On trains, they've worked this out by having a quiet car and letting you do calls in other cars. Well, it's harder on an airplane, but that shouldn't slow us down when it comes to tablets and e-readers and enabling consumers to use that and doing it in a way that's consistent with safety.